Ready, let's go. Call this meeting to order.
Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is a special meeting for Board of Commissioners, November 27th, 2018. We'll start right off the bat. We have a resolution setting poll worker pay for 2000 general election. Do you have the resolution, Attorney McClure?
I do. So, Vicki had done some research, and pursuant to Indiana Code 36627, the executive body sets the pay for poll workers. That's why it takes action by the commissioners and the council, one to establish the pay, which would be the commissioners, and one to fund the pay, which would be the council, and I believe they have that on their agenda tonight. There's three categories. We have clerks, judges, and inspectors. They're all terms of art for specific job duties while poll workers are working at the polling locations. Clerks and judges shall have their pay doubled to $220, and inspectors would have their pay doubled, and that would come out to $270. And this is specifically for the November 2018 general election.
Motion to approve order on poll worker pay, double poll workers pay. Excuse me?
May I speak on an inspector?
Give me a second here.
I've never been here before.
That's fine, that's okay. I'll second it. Now, discussion. Sir, please come forward, sit down, have a seat, give your name and address, and we'll hear you out.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen and ladies.
I thought you were a reporter, so.
No, she's the reporter.
Okay.
I'm the person that took the day off from work to fight for all this stuff.
Yeah, right.
Bill Perry, 60 Bass Drive, Portage, Indiana. I was precinct 6 inspector for 19, and then they called me, and then they asked me to do precinct 31, which is both at South Haven, which I ended up doing. My concerns are this: you should have received through the county
Complaint?
council 4.5-page letter that I had been asked to send in by Mr. Larson of the council, and I asked her to send it on to you.
They did.
Okay, so you've read this all. My concern is this: I've got people doing double duty, and I've actually found out that there's one inspector that did 5 precincts. When I was in the midst of fighting for this stuff, because I had people going, are we getting paid for this extra time that we have to sit here and do this? I was making phone calls to find out, because I had workers that going, I don't care if we have to stay open. We're going to close the polls at 6 o'clock and go home because we've done our job. And I agree with them from the standpoint they were there, and this has an accurate acronym by the military, and I'm not going to repeat it because it's not proper for mixed company. This fiasco, it was not their fault. They were there to do their jobs, and it was due to, from my research, one individual who said that they felt that they could handle everything and didn't want anybody else's help. And though everybody else has apologized profusely, except for the individual who keeps telling me it's not my fault, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. So when I addressed the issue of extra compensation, they said no. Then I said, I've got a judge covering 2 precincts. I'm covering 2 precincts. And I'm sure that there's other ones that are doing this too. I says, are we getting double compensation for covering 2 precincts? No, you're not getting any more money. As a matter of fact, I have one inspector covering 5 precincts, and they're not getting any more money. Well, first of all, that's not right. Second of all, according to the code you were quoting, it says that we can be compensated for more than that. As a matter of fact, it also says we can be compensated for the time we stand in line waiting to deliver our packages back to the courthouse, or in this case, it's this building here. And we got done, and I was back here. It was 9:30. We were standing in line. We didn't drop our bags. The bags weren't taken from us till about 10 to 12. That was a 20-hour day for me dealing with this. And so my rate of pay was pretty crappy. And I think that one of the things you guys have, this is like a bandage on a bullet hole, because what has to be done is you have to look into the future and justly compensate these people who are putting their time aside to do this stuff. And we are, according to my understanding of the rules and the things when we were sworn in, is we can go to jail if there's problems with these ballots. And for them to get paid $10 or less an hour to sit there and do this, and then, well, be treated this horribly is one thing, but the thing is to not be compensated justly for something that they can go to jail for is pretty pathetic, really. I mean, yes, we're volunteering, we're doing it for the, but then again, this is the second thing. I did the primaries. The primaries were a disaster, dropping the bags off. We brought our bags in, we were one ballot off, and we had to spend 30 minutes where they argued over one ballot. And they finally decided, well, it's not that important. Well, why don't you just say that in the beginning and go on with it? One of the councilmen said it's like we've never done an election before. Well, at the rate you're going, every person I talked to said, never again, I'm never going to do this. And I wasn't going to do this election, but I was asked to come in because they were shorthanded, and because I'm a big-hearted guy and I'm stupid, I volunteered to do this again and put myself through something that was much worse. But like I said, I'm looking to make sure my people are justly compensated for the work they've done. If they've done more than one precinct, they get paid more than one precinct, and the double pay for that precinct. And, and then on top of that, we've got all that other issues with the underage workers, but the thing is specifically on this. I want to make sure the people get their money for doing multiple multiple precinct things. I had my Democrat clerk for his precinct 18, or 19, which one was it? 19, jumped over and did 31's judge, and was a judge at the end of the night because my judge was underage and she needed to leave. I had her doing that, though I didn't write it up because it was only for a couple hours, and she said she didn't really care, but I wanted to make sure that it was on record. I had a judge doing do both precincts, and I was doing both precincts. So I want to make sure that this is on record, because if you're voting on this, I'm going to be back here to talk to the council tonight on the exact same things, and I want to make sure that that's on record, that this can be pushed through, too, at the same time, if possible, to get double pay for those workers, or the multiple pay for the multiple precincts for the workers that did the jobs. Am I making myself clear, if I just rattled too much because I haven't slept?
I don't know, do we make that decision?
We just set the pay.
Yeah.
We set the pay, that's all we do.
And then the council funds it, and council would have to address the issue of whether or not we're going to dive into the issue of people who did
Who did more than one precinct.
or did more than one job, if that happened. But right now, we got to do this today so that we can, this doubles, you understand, this doubles the pay out of the gate.
Right, I understand that, and that's great, but like I said, it's a bullet hole that you're covering with a Band-Aid. Something has to be done, and I don't know exactly how it works between the commissioners and council and everybody else, but something has to be addressed so this doesn't happen again, because you need workers, and if rumor runs faster than fact, and, so the rumor runs and facts walk, but the rumor gets out there, nobody's going to want to work, and you need workers to do this, so you need volunteers, people are willing to come out and do this, and it's not that I'm not opposed to taking a day off from work and coming out and doing this, it's just that this has got to be taken care of. The pay's got to be better for everybody. Working conditions is the working conditions, it was fine. The thing is, the pay has to be better, how they're treated is better, and, you got to take into consideration, the underage guys. I got one kid who was my Republican clerk, and he actually has a blog, and he's gone to town. So it's been interesting. Plus, he says, all this has done has made me want to work harder and make sure bad people don't get into government. So,
Well,
that's it.
I think the reason why we're the commissioners, and I'll let them speak for themselves, but first of all, that's why we're having the special meeting today, is to be...
I'm not saying you're bad.
No. But I also want to say thank you for, sharing what happened, and that obviously you can have seen the commissioners' comments so far in the paper about how they have felt about what occurred and what everybody went through. And we have a new clerk that got elected, and we all are in agreement that a comprehensive plan needs to be put together to deal with everything from the
Right.
process to who runs it, to how much poll workers get paid and how they're trained.
I think the biggest thing is people need to, I don't really give, I'm tired, so my mind is going to words I shouldn't use. I don't really care what party they're affiliated with. I care about the job they're doing. And I think some of the problems that I've been, like I said, I've been researching this thing a bit, and some of the things that I've been hearing and learning are from individuals who are no longer part of the government, but something that should be as a warning to everybody says, a public official is a public servant by definition, and when they start lording it over individuals and they think they're better than everybody else, they've forgotten what they're about. They don't need to be in that position anymore. They are not, they're not a lord over a bunch of serfs. They are a public servant. They've been elected to do a job and serve the people. And I think in all levels of government, too many people have forgotten about this. This is why I'm really in favor of term limits, but that's a different story. But, so if this new county clerk is great, that's awesome. I don't care what party she is. If she is full of herself, she needs to go too. I don't care. She needs to do the job that she was given to, not lord it over people like she's some sort of dictator, or he, or, I'm sorry, I'm just going to rattle here. I'm still recovering from a 20-hour workday, so.
Well, we appreciate the comments, and that's one of the reasons why
And thank you for addressing it.
yes, and we appreciate your comments,
Yeah, thank you.
and apologize for the hellish day it was.
Do you know when they're getting paid?
You want me to answer when people are getting paid? I'm really pleased to share this news with you all, that everyone that we have sufficient information for will get paid with the next county pay date, which is this coming Friday.
Oh, really?
The auditor's office, we made it a top priority to expedite this process. We worked closely with the commissioners and the council on all of this. And we received the payroll forms for the new poll workers at 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, November 20th. And that usually is not enough time to process payroll. But because we did some things the prior week to identify previous poll workers, we were able to expedite it. So as of right now, every poll worker that we have sufficient information for will get their checks, well, the checks will be processed this coming Friday with the rest of the county payroll.
It will be sent.
And
They won't
I
have to
think
come and get
you're
it.
on the list, if I understood
I
your...
should be on the list twice, because I did put myself down for both
Right,
polls.
I
but,
see, you're on the list. As of today, though, we are still missing information for 56 poll workers,
Ugh.
based on the list that we've received. So we will be working with the clerk's office to try to find those payroll forms, and hopefully they will be paid December 14th, which is our next county payment date.
Yeah,
And I guess to clarify that a little bit more, the box was dropped off by the by the designee of the clerk's office, and they basically said, this is what we got done, it's Tuesday, we're going on the holiday, we won't be back to the following Tuesday, here's what you got.
It's not that they're lost.
It's not that they're lost, but I just want to be clear that it's
We
not...
went through that entire box,
Yes.
though, and we got everyone paid that was in that box. But there are still 56 that
And
are waiting for them.
And Vicki, could you just go through quickly what we need for those 56 people?
We need what I call the payroll forms, the personnel form, the W-4, WH-4, because we pay poll workers through the payroll process, so we need their social security number. We need additional information. We can't just cut a check. Like the meal reimbursement check is just a check.
So what do we, well, I know my people are on top of it because I got stung last time by this, so I made sure I did everything right. Well, I don't know who to talk to about the other stuff, so, but that's something you're taking care of.
We
So this
have the
increase in
names.
pay would be on this too, check too?
Pardon me?
The increase in pay that you're voting in would be on...
That's why we're doing it today.
Yes.
That's why we're doing it now.
And I'm very pleased to say that
Okay.
we have it set up, assuming the council approves it tonight.
I don't see why they wouldn't, but you never know.
It's all set up.
They will.
I think that's it. I don't know. Thank you for your time in doing this, and appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure I was on record and
Appreciate
put
it.
that issue in before, because I don't know what needs to be done, but it does need to be addressed and resolved as far as getting extra pay for extra workers, because as it is, it's on the thing. And I don't know exactly how you're going to address the other issue about people standing in line and stuff, because that's actually under the same thing as something that can be compensated for, too. So,
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion? I have a question on this rate. Is this just set, is this set going forward, or how does that work for the next election, or how does it?
We'll have to do it again.
Okay, all right, just point of housekeeping for you
Yeah.
there.
And that's why I put it for the November 2018 general election.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you did, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I didn't see that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments, Laura?
No?
All right, so with that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. And that wraps up our meeting. This board stands in recess.